Commission of the City of Brownsville. Pursuant to Chapter 551, Title 5 of the Texas Government Code, the Texas Open Meetings Act, notice is hereby given that the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, in accordance with Article 5, Section 12 of the Charter of said city, will convene an executive session and a regular meeting on Tuesday, March the 19th, 2013, at 5:30 p.m. and 6 p.m. in the Commission Chambers on the second floor of the Brownsville City Hall, located at 1001 East Elizabeth Street, Brownsville, Cameron County, Texas. Executive session, item A, discussion pursuant to section 551.087 of the Texas Government Code regarding economic development. Executive session, item B, consultation with attorney pursuant to section 551.0712 on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State of Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with the duties under chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code.
Okay, Stella, I think it's 6 o'clock.
Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation, please.
Mr. Aguilar, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, and tonight we will ask Donald Ham of the Kingdom Connection Worship Center. Not only is he the pastor there, but he's the master of the mass choir. And welcome. I hadn't seen you in a while.
It's been a while.
Good to have you here.
Nice to see everyone. Please bow your heads. Father God, we come to you this evening, united together as a community and as a city. We come before you, Father, thanking you for the opportunities you've given us this day to be in your presence. We thank you in advance for the continued protection of this commission in our beloved city of Brownsville. Father, we ask you to continue to inspire our leaders through your Holy Spirit to work together in harmony for a better Brownsville. Thank you for aligning the spirits, the hearts, the minds of our commissioners with yours, Heavenly Father, to do the will for this community. We ask for your hands of protection over every single person, every single body that's here today. For you say in your word in Isaiah 41:10, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, I will help you, I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." Therefore, Father, we can rest assured that you are present here in this assembly today. So we ask that your will and not ours be done to accomplish what is to be accomplished this evening. May you continue to reign in this great city of Brownsville, the state of Texas, and this great country. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Amen.
Thank you, Donald. The mayor's report will be next. I think the first thing that I'm going to do is show my appreciating gratitude for the things that are happening in Brownsville. We had a terrific air show. I don't know whether the airport people are still here today or they came to the executive session. Manuel Alcocer over there. For some of those that didn't get a chance to go visit, I did. The air show was terrific. I know we had kind of a little bit of a slow start on a Saturday, but it picked up wonderfully on Sunday. And I want to thank all of you from the airport board, as well as all the staff that was out there. And the police, again, our department is terrific. They did a great job of, doing the traffic. And I noticed, by the way, that not only did we have a great participation, what happens is if you go to the air show, you cannot bring coolers and stuff like that, so you get a chance to park and you have to pay for parking. But all the other wonderful citizens of Brownsville, I drove around the airport and there was tons of cars with all their kids and all these coolers out there, and they were having a great time because the air show, you can't really block it from the world. It happens up in the air. So, but it was great. It was a great follow-up to the Charo Days, which was terrific. The second kudos goes to the Ciclovia and Commissioner Gowan. I'll let you talk a little bit more about that. But I happened to be out there as well on Sunday, and I've never seen so many smiley little faces, which brings a very big smile to my heart, because when the kids are having fun, the world's having fun. And so I'll let you thank everybody as well. But again, the police department was terrific. Chief, you guys are doing a terrific job. So my great thanks. The third thing that I'd kind of like to visit with you all about is I just now drove in from Austin, and I want you all to know that House Bill 1000, which is the House bill for the merger between UTB and UT Pan American and a medical school, actually passed the House this morning at about 11:15, 149 to 0. There was no nays. Last week I was in Austin, and so. And that's my man over there, Bill. He knows when to clap. But last week, I want you all to know that, again, Senate Bill 24, which is almost the identical bill, passed by 30 to 1. So I wanted to, I know that most of us are so busy with our endeavors, and we all have our own efforts that we're kind of pushing forward for many different reasons. But the delegation from the Valley that was led by Rene Oliveda, but it was the entire delegation. They got together, and just goes to show you how you can get people together and get things done. They did a marvelous job. They had 133 sponsors even before they walked into the room, which only ensures you that you needed to have a 2/3 vote, even without the governor's signature. But the governor, again, stepped up to the plate at the State of the Union for the state and said this is one of the things that was one of his priorities. So, and Chuy Hinojosa and our Senator Eddie Lucio were behind House Bill 24. And the reason that I mention this is that it's so important, and I think the reason that Bill's over there clapping, because you realize what the economic impact of that means. Most of you probably are fairly young and didn't go through all the arduous steps of what it was like to be down here and go to Austin and say, we need X dollars for our kids, and they're going like, that would be great, but you don't belong to the permanent university funds, the PUF funds that they called. So you were basically outside the door always asking for alms, like many of you pastors know what it's like. And you're always sitting there and saying, this is the legitimate reason why you can't have it, and I'm really sorry, but you can't have it. And now that legitimate reason is gone, and through the creativity of the governor, the Chancellor Francisco Figueroa, Gene Powell has now, I visit with him as often as I possibly can, who is the chair of the Board of Regents from the University of Texas. They have all come to the assistance of not only the university, but of the Lower Rio Grande Valley, and they have pledged to plant a flag down in the Lower Rio Grande Valley and take its place rightfully in the state of Texas. So if you get a chance, email, text, whatever you do, Facebook, thank every one of our legislators, because I tell you what, the one person that dissented at the Senate, it was not because she didn't really want it, she had a philosophical objection to trying to get the other medical schools to have all these residencies done. And there was a kind of a convoluted way of thinking, but it was legitimate and it should be respected, but it had nothing to do not to be behind us. So, if you got a chance, if you have a relationship with any one of our legislators, whether they be here in the Valley or throughout the state of Texas, because I'm telling you what, it was so pretty to get all those green lights lit up all the way from North Texas to South Texas to East Texas to South Texas, which means they're all behind us. So thank them. Thank the governor. It was a beautiful, beautiful morning for the Valley. And I'm not going, I know that there's some people, we don't really want to mix religion with government, but I do want to, I was telling Dr. Garcia, I said, it's kind of interesting that the Catholic Church has appointed, or however they do that, they've elected, and if you looked at the Time magazine, it says Pope of the Americas, and we've been talking about the University of the Americas. So I think that the times are right for saying it's the Brownsville of the Americas, which is, we can extend to all of the world, but we are the gateway to the Americas. So I think these are exciting times for us. The last thing that I will make mention of, and that is this Thursday and Friday are also important days for us. Thursday, and I'll let Commissioner Gowan talk to you a little bit about that, but she's going to inaugurate the Belden Trail, which is a bike and hike trail, and I'll let her talk about it, but it's another way of how we are doing great things, great progress, wonderful things for the health and the community of Brownsville. On Friday, we will have the beginning, at least the inauguration of the Resaca Restoration Project, and I invite each and every one of you to come, whether you're here in person or you're watching on the television. It will start, I believe, about 9 o'clock. Charlie, is that correct? Is it 9?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and it's over there by the cemetery. For some of you who haven't seen this project working, they've been working in the Resaca behind PUB, but you basically have a procedure which kind of takes out all the stuff out of the bottom of the Resaca, and it's all black and filled with all kinds of stuff. It cleans it out, and then it comes out water just as clear as this that you're drinking. And so you're not going to be able to drink that water, but it makes your whole Resacas look really nice, and it allows, hopefully, if anybody doesn't understand what the benefit of this is, from an ecological standpoint, it allows more ecological growth to continue. When we do have some rainfall that the good Lord sends us, we'll have greater capacity to have it. And if that's right, and if anybody is keeping up score right now with the drought in Texas, we're in a drought situation. Up the valley, they are in an extreme drought situation. The water situation, the legislature has seen fit, I think, or the governor has, to assess, a couple of $2 billion for the water problems. So we are very blessed and very fortunate to have these Resacas. So work with us. If you got any questions, if you have any issues or things that you would like to discuss about that Resaca project, please feel free to call us. Feel free to call either one of the commissioners, because I think this is such an important project for each and every one of us. It's important not only for the property owners, but it's important for the community. So we got to learn how to take care of each other, and we do that, we'll be in great shape. That concludes my report.
First of all, I want to start with Ciclovia. Ciclovia number 2 was a tremendous success and even more fun than the first Ciclovia. This year in 2013, we will have 3 Open Streets programs, or three Ciclovias. The first was St. Patrick's Day. We're still tabulating the numbers, but we clearly had over 5,000 people in the streets. Tons and tons of families. There may have been people still celebrating spring break, but I'll tell you what, there were hundreds and hundreds of families out in the streets enjoying a car-free ride from Dean Porter Park all the way down past the university, past Lincoln Park to the Stripes. We had 4 reclovias, or rest stops, the first manned by the City of Brownsville, the second by the River Rockets, the third by UTB Department of Health and Human Performance, and the final one by Healthy Communities and the UT School of Public Health. I have to thank all of the planning team. We've been meeting, and they've been coming to meet with us weekly for the last several months. Attendance has been high, energy has been high. I have to thank our founding partners, the Department of Health, City of Brownsville Department of Health, the School of Public Health, and all of our other partners, including the Police Department, the Traffic Department, the Parks Department, and the list goes on. Our signature sponsor this year is HEB. We have attracted their attention with our work, and they were there in mass with a great number of water and fruit and granola bars and their energy and inflatables, and the list goes on. Bike Texas supported us again by bringing their fleet of bikes, and a new bike fleet came in, Rugged Cycles, that brought their chainless, airless, stainless steel bicycles, which are used in industrial parks but also in university settings for bike share. Everything was great. The weather was great, except for a little sunburn here and there. The mayor's right. There were so many children laughing and smiling, and mothers and grandmothers and families just playing in the streets. It was delightful. So thank you for everyone's hard work. And stay tuned for our next one, which will be in August, on August the 9th. And we will be doing it on an evening to do a night ride for back to school. With respect to the Belden Trail, a lot of hard work and grant work, thanks to our grant department and our 4B Corporation, is now ready to break ground on the Belden Trail, starting from Sunrise Park on Palm Boulevard and ending where Skinner is. It is about a mile, and it will be a very important connector between east and west parts of the city, just like Morrison Road is, and the trail that's going in there. Thanks to the Texas Parks and Wildlife Grant and other funding that we've been able to find to put together, the trail will be lit, it will be landscaped, it will be irrigated, and safe. A safe route to get to several different schools, including Cummings, Sharp, Skinner, and several others. And it will be just a delightful treat and improvement to West Brownsville, which really has had not a great deal of improvement through the years, especially along that abandoned rail line. So I invite, Commissioner Villarreal and I invite you to come down for the ribbon cutting at the Skinner end of the trail at 10 o'clock on Thursday morning, so that we can celebrate together. You can see the schematic design, and before the summer we should have a usable, beautiful new space for Brownsville.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anyone else? Okay. Estella?
Well, proclamations, Brownsville Housing Authority 75th anniversary.
Okay, and Commissioner Tetro is not going to be here, right? Is that right, Charlie?
Yes, sir. She's not going to be
Okay.
here.
I'll go ahead and read it then. A proclamation of the City Commission of Brownsville, Texas, celebrating the 75th anniversary of the Brownsville Housing Authority. Whereas the federal government enacted the United States Housing Act of 1937, and whereas the City Commission of the City of Brownsville established the Housing Authority of the City of Brownsville on March 24, 1938, making Brownsville the 7th city in the state of Texas to establish a housing authority, and whereas the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development provides funding for the Housing Authority of the City of Brownsville to meet the needs of families with limited income, to provide them with a decent, safe, and sanitary housing, and whereas the Housing Authority of the City of Brownsville for the past 75 years has provided housing assistance to the elderly, disabled, and low-income families in Brownsville through the public housing and housing choice voucher programs, and whereas the Housing Authority of the City of Brownsville is currently providing assistance to 3,004 families in the Brownsville community, and whereas the City Commission of the City of Brownsville congratulates the Housing Authority of the City of Brownsville on the recently completed construction of the new 148-unit Citrus Gardens apartments in their effort to continue serving the Brownsville community. Now, therefore, we, the members of the Brownsville City Commission, by authority vested by the charter of said city, do hereby celebrate the 75th anniversary of the Brownsville Housing Authority and further congratulate the staff on a job well done as they provide decent, safe, and sanitary housing to the residents of our communities. Signed this day, Antonio Martinez Tony, Mayor of the City of Brownsville. Very good. Appreciate it very much. Appreciate all your work. Thank you. Thank you.
It's nice to meet you finally.
Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, my name is Jim Hargrove, and I'm the interim CEO of the Brownsville Housing Authority. On behalf of the Commissioners, the staff, and the residents, I want to thank you very much for this proclamation.
Well, and I want to personally thank you for coming down here. You were from Austin, is that?
Yes, sir. I spent 17 years as the CEO and president of the Austin Housing Authority.
And did it with excellent, in an excellent way, and I laud you and your staff, and I laud your board. You have a terrific board. And so,
absolutely.
You know,
I'm
so
tickled. They
keep
really
up the good work, Jim.
Thank you.
Nice
Thank
to
you
have
very
you in
much.
Brownsville.
Presentation, Employee of the Month.
Mayor, members of the commission, please help me welcome our Employee of the Month for March, Eduardo Ledesma Jr. And my apologies, we had a hiccup last meeting, and we weren't prepared for him, but he had all his family here, so they're watching on TV from home. Eduardo is employed by the city of Brownsville at the traffic department. He's been there for 4.5 years. He is a traffic signal technician. He's got a lot education in that field. He's also an electrician. We selected him after we had some bad accidents where we had to get people out in the street. Some of our traffic signals and things like that were knocked down. We had one 802 Express, and he was out there for, I would say, 9-10 hours that day, getting all those signals fixed after some of the poles and utilities were knocked down and things like that. Dedicated a lot of time, a lot of effort in getting that and getting it resolved and fixed before it got dark. And we had a lot of issues out there. So he is very dedicated to his profession, dedicated to our city. He's also does a lot of work with our newer people that are being hired, and we're glad to have him. And so he gets the plaque for March.
Thank you, sir.
The pin. And I hope it's a men's watch. Yes, it is.
Thank you.
And a little few words.
I just want to say that I'm very proud to be a city employee, and thank you once again.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
The next presentation is Notice of Funding Availability for fiscal year 2013 and 14.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. I'm here today to present the Notice of Funding Availability for CDBG Home and ESG programs. We've been working very closely with HUD over the past couple of months, as well as our consultants, and so they've advised us to make a couple of revisions to our Notice of Funding Availability. I think they're all very positive changes. It'll increase the transparency in regards to how we evaluate applications and how we award the subrecipients. As you may know, federal funding, there's reductions across the board, and HUD advised us that we're looking at a 5% reduction for all three programs. So what you see there is a 5% reduction of last year's annual allocation. The NOFA was available Friday, March 15th. All applicants will have 1 month to submit their application, which is April 15th at 4 p.m. We'll need 1 original copy, 1 digital copy, and 15 copies for the entire Brownsville Citizens Advisory Committee. Coming from the grant side, I know that sometimes you want to put an application together, and sometimes you want someone to give it a quick look and let you know what how it can be improved before the final deadline. So we're allowing all applicants to go ahead and submit a draft to us by March 28th, and we'll provide some feedback on that. Eligible applicants are nonprofit organizations as well as for-profit. We have never really had any for-profit organizations apply, but nevertheless they are eligible. City departments will complete a different application. That's one of the changes that we've made. This year we're going to have nonprofits competing with nonprofits, and we'll have departments competing with departments. You know, the 15% of the annual allocation goes to social services, so we're looking at about $425,000 to go between the nonprofits. The rest will be for city departments who will be competing against each other for their budget. The minimum project that we'll be allowed to award is $10,000, and of course there's a lot of administrative reporting and whatnot that goes into these grants, so we've put a minimum of $10,000. This is a new component. Agencies cannot receive funding for the same project for more than 2 consecutive years. They must sit out the 3rd year. Now note that I said project. So a nonprofit can come back to us on the 3rd year. However, they need to demonstrate that there's an increased need, that they're going to serve more people, or they can bring a different project to the table and they will be considered. And to provide some resources to some of the applicants, we went ahead and put two links on here. The first one gives several examples of a HUD eligible project. We actually use this when we review for eligibility. So they can go on there and might see some projects that they'll be applying for, or may give them some ideas for next year. The second link is a GIS service. So if you are curious as to how many people that you're going to serve, or the service area that you'll be providing services to, you type in the address. It will show you on there if it is eligible based on the area, which is CDBG eligible area, and it'll also tell you the number of beneficiaries, which is important because that's one of the components of our application. We had 3 workshops on March 18th. They were mandatory for CDBG applicants. Home was exempt and ESG was exempt. We offered them at these 3 different times. However, anybody who was unable to attend, I did allow them to attend tonight's meeting and still be considered. In addition to the draft, reviewing the drafts, we're going to offer some one-on-one technical assistance by appointment between the days of March 19th and the 28th. They're on a first-come, first-served basis, limited to 30 minutes, so just call our office, anyone who's interested, and we'll go ahead and set up an appointment for you. Of course, all of the applicants must satisfy one of the 3 federal objectives for CDBG, which is benefit low-income persons, aid in eliminating slum or blight, or address an emergent need. The home program, in a nutshell, is provide affordable housing for the Brownsville community. And ESG programs address homelessness or those at risk of becoming homeless. All of the applicants will be evaluated to make sure that they do coincide, their project coincides with our consolidated plan. Currently, we are in a regional plan with the other Rio Grande Valley entitlement communities. We're on the last year of a 3-year plan. We are also developing our plan now, which is a 5-year consolidated plan. So all the projects must coincide with these plans. And of course, the annual action plan is the specific projects for each particular year. Any applicant that submits an application must understand that it will go through an environmental review, that there will be a contract or an agreement between the city of Brownsville and that organization, and of course they must comply with the federal requirements, procurement requirements, or the city. This is how the process will work. The applicants will submit their applications. OGM staff will review and make sure that the application is complete. Any incomplete applications will be thrown out. They will not be considered. There's several nonprofits submitting applications. There's limited funds going around, so please make sure to get your application in by 4 p.m. on April 15th, or it will not be considered. The next step is the advisory committee will evaluate the applications, and this is a new component. There's a score sheet that we've developed. So in a nutshell, the applications will now have, each component of the application will be worth a certain amount of points. They'll assign a score to that application. We'll post that application. They'll be ranked. They'll be available on the website. Again, full transparency as to who was awarded, why they were awarded. If any applicant wants some feedback Again, from the grant side, I know this is important. So if you want to know why you scored what you did, or you want to see that score sheet, you can go ahead and request that by sending a written request specifically to me no later than 15 days after the notification. We'll be happy to provide that to you. We would then bring it to the City Commission for approval and then to HUD. This is the evaluation score sheet that we've developed. Number one, of course, is the project scope. What we really want to see is that your project is going to benefit the community to the greatest extent possible. So the number of people that you serve or the area that you serve is most important, and obviously it's worth 20 points. And you can go down the rest. But this right here, the good standing with COB, we are going to be considering your previous experience with our department. So if you are a nonprofit who has been awarded with us several years in the past, but have had findings, or we've had to deobligate funds, we will consider that, or the Brownsville Citizens Advisory Committee will consider that when scoring your application. All worth 100 points. This presentation, along with the actual application, is available on our website, and anybody interested can also come pick it up at our office. Any questions, please contact us at the office. Any questions?
Good work, Stephanie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Technicalities where an organization might not be approved. I know that happened with about 3 this last time, and we made arrangements to help, for example, the United Way, their income tax program. And some numbers did come in. They're preliminary numbers. They're very conservative, which means that they're going to grow. But that $25,000 investment, if you want to call it, that we made has brought over $7 million into our local economy in returns. So just so the public knows what those monies go toward.
Absolutely, and again, with transparency, at the end of the year, we want to be able to present the number of beneficiaries and the type of services and give credit to those nonprofits that did carry out their project. And again, with the good standing, they're not disqualified at all. In the application, they'll see that there's a place for them to explain what may have happened that led to that finding or that concern. So all of that will be considered.
I'm probably going to want to sit down and talk with you. We haven't had a chance, and we do need to talk. And what I'm not comfortable with is, or maybe I need a further explanation, and I'll be glad to, this won't be the forum to do it, but I'd be glad to sit down and talk with you. I'm not comfortable with when you give an explanation as far as city departments competing against each other for funding. Maybe, I guess, I'm overdoing my tenure, I guess, here. I guess I've been here too long, but we don't compete. Our departments don't compete against each other. We need to take care of what we need to take care of within our departments. We need to take care of our departments as best as we can through CDBG, not have them compete with each other. But I'd be glad to sit down and talk with you, maybe with the city manager also, so we can discuss this further.
Sure, and just to clarify, it's not necessarily competing against each other. For example, Public Works won't be competing against engineering. That's why we eliminated them competing against nonprofits. We want that to be the competition, and here more of a planning session where we sit down and evaluate how much money we have left, look at what the needs are, and then allocate funding accordingly.
I'll email you tonight. That way we can probably set up something so we can do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Consent agenda items A through E.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 6.
Item number 6, consideration and action to appoint 1 member to the Brownsville Beautification Committee.
Charlie, I think that's you.
Excuse me, Mayor. We're slowly filling in the Beautification Committee membership. We have 1 application on file. Mr. Jimmy Paz is wishing to be appointed. He would be replacing Dr. Adela Bromley, who has served her 2 terms. We thank her for that. She's not eligible for reappointment. She has been staying on until we fill the vacancy. So,
I'd be honored to nominate Mr. Jimmy Paz. He's a wonderful, wonderful man. He's been an asset to the beautification department in the past.
Do I have a second? All those in favor say aye. Thank you very much, John.
Thank you.
Item number 7, consideration and action to appoint or reappoint 7 members to the Animal Regulation Care Advisory Committee.
Honorable Mayor, members of the Commission, good afternoon. Let me separate this item into 2 parts. The first part is the reappointing the members that were there. Their terms have all expired, and the reason they have expired is because at the time the City Commission was going through the process of redefining the regulations for such, and then we internally were also trying to get some other things accomplished with our aims. But all the members who were previously on that board wish to remain. So the first part of this is I wish for that to be considered. Once that is approved, also we've got 3 new people who would be coming from the citizen position that is available to be considered. To be considered for the board. And we've identified at the bottom half of the application those recommendations from staff, from those that fit the definition of citizen. So
I'll entertain a motion.
I would also like to add that Commissioner Zamora has asked at this point not to be reappointed, so there would be a need to appoint a commissioner for the board.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Mayor, I'll move to reappoint the slate with the exception of Commissioner Zamora. And if we can have that at the further meeting so the commissioners can discuss it amongst themselves.
Absolutely.
To see who would be able to serve.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 7. Well, number 8.
Number 8, consideration and action to appoint or reappoint 2 members to the Parks Advisory Committee.
Mayor, Commissioners, we have 2 vacancies. They're actually 2 3-year terms for the Parks Advisory Board. We've kind of been in the same situation for the past few months as far as reappointment, and we finally come to the point where we actually have all the guidelines. Those are, as you see there, there's the people. It was actually Mike Jones and Chuck Hoskins were the 2 that are no longer with the board. And there's names, as you can see down there. I don't know how you would like to recommend the individuals.
You're saying we can pick from any of the ones on the bottom?
Those are the actual applications that we have.
And how many spots do you have to fill?
How
many spots do you have to fill?
2. Now, I can note that there's no representative according to this, and I don't know how they do the districts, but District 3 is not represented, currently not represented.
No, because at that time we had just appointed, because I remember I had appointed Leo Rosales at that time, and Sergio Zarate.
Is Tito Mata Jr. one of the applicants, right?
Yes, I would motion to appoint
Because we
Tito
don't have
Mata
anybody
Jr.
from district number 2.
Can Mr. Mata attend the meeting since they are during the day? He is an educator also.
He called me.
Okay.
We have them at lunchtime, so it's usually about noon.
Yeah, he's over at Porter.
Yeah, he works for
Anyway, do we have a motion before the board and a second? For Tito Mata, we'll do one at a time. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, motion carries.
One motion to recommend or nominate Derek Benavides.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you. We now have a full board, so you won't see
Okay.
me back for.
Okay, that's
at least
good,
6
Chris.
months.
Keep
Thank you.
up the good work.
Thank you.
Item number 9, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 2013-1574 to amend Chapter 2 Administration of the Code of Ordinances by adding Division 3 Special Needs Advisory Board and establish the structure and guidelines for the Special Needs Advisory Board.
Honorable Mayor, members of the Commission, good evening. The City Commission on 2 separate occasions has passed resolutions, once in 2006, another one in 2008, to work with members of the community towards a Special Needs Advisory Board. These items were passed as resolutions. They were never passed in this format as an ordinance, which is necessary for us to be able to create the board and have the membership. Mr. Zarate has been a big proponent of this, and when we started wanting to activate this board again, we ran into this. So this is the first step of us coming tonight to you, getting this approval, second reading, and then at a later date, I can come with you for the establishment of the members. Sure.
Okay. Yeah, so this would be public hearing, so anybody wish to say anything? Wait just a second, let Sergio go ahead. No, go ahead, Sergio. He would.
Yes, I mean, Commissioner, thank you. Actually, this is not why I came here today, but I'm glad I was here for this particular item. I think it's been passed around a couple of times and a couple of years, maybe even through some commissions to establish this. I think it's fair, it's equitable. I think it looks a lot at the sidewalks and bus terminals and anything that a special needs constituent would need. Okay, so to say it's just for this, it's for whatever the constituents may need. So it's not only for children, it's for adults, and we would highly appreciate you putting this together and letting us get to work on that. Okay?
Okay, thank you, sir. Any other comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion to close. All those in favor say aye. Motion carries. Now I have an action item. All those in favor say aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Sergio.
Thank you.
Thank you. Arturo.
Item 10, public hearing and action on to approve a substantial amendment to the October 1, 2012, September 30th, 2013 one-year action plan.
Mayor, Commissioners, this is a substantial amendment for the 2012-2013 one-year action plan. Let me note here that all of the projects down below have already been approved by the Commission. They aren't any new projects. What we have done to meet our expenditure ratio with HUD is we've reallocated funding from the Sports Park Dome and the Southmost Dome. We've reduced those budgets and plugged that money into these projects. And so we increased them by pretty significant amounts, if you'll see, which is a positive thing because most of these, if not all, are shovel-ready or already underway. So that means they'll be breaking ground pretty soon if they haven't, which is good because they will be completed by this summer, which is good because they are an investment of HUD, and that will be visual by summer, which will put us back in good standing with HUD. So this is a public hearing.
It doesn't specify where it's located.
It's at Olivera Park.
It's at Olivera Park. So that doesn't have anything to do with the Olivera Park improvements?
No, the Olivera Park improvements is a separate project. And there's several projects going on at Olivera Park. There's the special needs park, the park improvements, and the skate park as well.
Okay, this is an action item.
No, it's a public comment.
There is no public, there's public hearing, right?
Yes.
But it doesn't require two readings, is that right? No. Okay, so we have a motion to close public hearing?
Move to close.
Okay, all those in favor say aye?
Aye.
Okay, how about a motion for action? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Stephanie. Number
Item
11.
11, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2013-006-S to allow a professional office classification in Lot 2, Block 1 of Marine Drive subdivision located at 990 Marine Drive.
Mayor, City Commission, this map projected on the screen is the area shaded in red is the area requesting the specific use for a professional office. As you can see on the map, this is on Marine Street, kind of behind the hospital. If I can point with this. Okay, the hospital is on the corner of Central Boulevard and Jefferson Street, and this is just behind. This was before the Planning and Zoning Commission, and they all on approval or recommending approval of this project.
This is a public hearing. Do we have any public comment? Mr. Aguilar? Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's my office that I'm asking for the special use permit. I have a quiet practice, which is why I wanted it in a residential area. It sits on 1.5 acres. It's set back from all the other houses. I've got a letter from all my immediate neighbors supporting my request. I haven't seen any opposition. I'm asking for this permit. If you have any questions for me, I'd try to answer them the best I can. I didn't know if you did.
We'll try to be real quiet. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Coming by. Appreciate it. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Move to
Action.
approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Keep it quiet.
Item 12, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2013-007-S to allow a dwelling classification and a dwelling A classification for Tract 2 of Lacoma A subdivision located at 3344 Jasmine Street.
Again, we have another map projected on the screen in the area. As soon as I turn this on. Okay. This area shaded in red is the area requesting the specific use for a duplex. Again, this was also on the Planning and Zoning Commission. There was no opposition to this case, and Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval on this project.
Are there other duplexes in that area?
I'm sorry, ma'am?
Are there other duplexes in that area?
Yes, got a couple of pictures, but right here there's apartments, and over here on this site, there's a triplex and a fourplex. And on the other street, there's a couple of duplexes.
This is public hearing. Any comments from the public? If not, I'll
Close.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Action.
Move to approve.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Item 13, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2013-008 to rezone from dwelling G classification to medium commercial G classification for .1810 acres out of Lot 2, Block 213 of El Jardín re-subdivision located at 8105 East 14th Street.
Again, we have another map projected on the screen. This area shaded in red, very close to the Port of Brownsville, requesting the change of zoning from dwelling. I don't know why it's still dwelling. The request is for 6 commercial, which the Planning and Zoning Commission will have no problem, and all in favor of the rezoning.
What is located next to it?
Let me see. Can you put the picture? There's some warehousing on this area, and there's an electric building, and right here there's an empty building, a small building, but it's going to be teared down.
Public hearing. Anybody have any comments?
Move to close.
Oh, here's the picture, ma'am. You can see this building is going to be moved or teared down, and this is the building, some kind of electricity building. There's a warehouse, a truck stop, a freight terminal.
Okay. I have a motion to close public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Move to approve.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 14, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2013-009 to rezone from light retail G classification to medium retail G classification for 1.3 acres of Lot 3, Block 1, SSP Circle K subdivision located near Old Port Isabel Road and East Price Road.
Mayor, City Commission, this is another rezoning request. You have First National Bank here on Price. You have a Stripes here, and you have a doctor's office in this lot here. What they're basically asking for is to expand their parking lot, but they couldn't without a rezone, and so they're rezoning the entire property to second commercial, which we feel, and the Planning and Zoning Commission felt that was adequate for the area. So we ask for your approval tonight.
Okay, public hearing. Any comments?
Move to close.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Action.
Move to approve.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Number 15, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2013-0010 to rezone from dwelling G classification to light commercial G classification for 25 acres out of Block 10, Leak subdivision located near Naranjo Road and Old Alice Road.
Mayor, City Commission, once again, we're seeing a lot of activity off of 511. This site is, this is Olmito State subdivision. and Los Pinos subdivision, and this area here is the jail and the Border Patrol station. This is Old Alice Road. If you go to the aerial, can you go to the aerial? We looked at this site very carefully, and the zoning kind of grades down from 511. You have 6th commercial, 5th commercial. So we felt that 4th commercial was a good zoning for this. There was a buffer. There's a buffer here. There's a canal separating the subdivision between the commercial, and we don't feel like, given that all these properties are zoned commercial, the residential is not going to jump over. So we're okay with 4th commercial at this site, and we ask for your approval.
Where's the sports park related?
Sports park is down here.
Any public hearing? Any public comments?
Move to close.
All those in favor say aye. Motion carries. Action.
Move to approve.
All those in favor say aye. Motion carries.
Item 16, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2013-011-S to allow an apartment G classification and a dwelling Z classification for lots 1 and 2 of Block 102 of Olmito Original Town Site located near 7783 Expressway and Fresno Street.
This is another zoning case before you. This is Old 77, and this is right just north of the 1732 intersection, and this is Old 77. Most of the stuff along the expressway is obviously commercial or will become commercial. This request is for, I think, a 5 or 6 unit little complex here. We felt it was an adequate use given the fact that Old 77 and the highway here. So multifamily is a buffer between commercial and residential. So we ask for your approval again today.
Any public comments? All those in favor say aye. Motion carries. Action. All those in favor say aye. Motion carries.
Number 17, public comment.
I think
Mr.
Sergio.
Sergio Zarate. revise, authorize, adopt, and implement the drug and alcohol policy of the City of Brownsville's Transit Department, Brownsville Metro, as revised and approved by the Federal Transit Association on February the 22nd, 2013.
Good evening, Mayor and City Commissioners. At the request of the Federal Transit Administration, the Brownsville Metro Drug and Alcohol Policy was revised. There were some items that needed clarification and/or corrections. These items have been addressed and corrected on the policy as required. On February 22nd, 2013, we were notified that the revised policy has been reviewed and approved by FTA. At this time, we are requesting the City's Commission authorization through this attached resolution to adopt and implement the Brownsville Metro Drug and Alcohol Policy as revised and approved by FTA.
Do I hear a motion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Item 19, consideration and action on resolution number 2013-024, authorizing the deletion of restrictive conditions in connection with the sale of the premises at 344 Porter Drive, Brownsville, Texas, designating signatories for the purchase and dealing with related matters.
Mayor and Commissioners, this is in connection with the sale of the old National Guard Armory to the University of Texas system. There was, when we deeded the property to the National Guard, there was a clause in the deed that says if you haven't built the Army in 5 years, we get the property back. When we bought the property from the National Guard about 6-7 months ago, I took a look at it and I said, well, we don't need to do anything because, we're buying it back, so we've got it back. The UT system sees it a little differently, and they would like a statement in the deed records that basically removes that 5-year contingency. It doesn't change, in my opinion, doesn't change anything. There's no reason not to go ahead and go along with it. And so that's what we're asking you to do, is to approve that resolution, and we press forward with the sale of the property to the UT system.
That's right. You know how lawyers are. They
Well,
always. Do I hear a motion? All those in favor say aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Item 20, consideration and action to acknowledge the Allied Waste Services 2.44% rate increase for residential solid waste and brush waste services as authorized by original agreement dated March 17, 2010, and subsequent addendum dated March the 20th, 2012.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Commissioners. Item for consideration is to acknowledge a CPI increase for our residential solid waste contractor, BFI. I have a brief PowerPoint up there. The license agreement with BFI was adopted by City Commission on March 17. Addendum was approved on March 22nd. This contract is valid until 2015. The service license agreement with Allied Waste increases the yearly service yearly service rates by using two indexes. One is from the U.S. Department of Labor and the other one is the Department of Energy. These rates were verified by the Finance Department. The computation the increase was 2.44%. But due to the no rate increase by the city rate, there's two rates, one by the city, one by BFI. The city is not requesting an increase to their rate, it's only BFI. The net rate increase is going to be 1.92%. Residential garbage increase will become effective April 1st, 2013. This is statistical data that was retrieved from the U.S. Department of Labor and verified by the Finance Department. Net increase for the garbage collections and CPI was 2.31%. U.S. Department of Energy statistical information is at a 0.13% increase. Combined rate increase is verified at 2.44%. This is the same worksheet in one worksheet. Currently, right now on the top schedule, you have the current rates. When I was saying that BFI has a rate of 15.37, the city has also a rate of $4.46. Combined rate is 19.83.
The new rate will become effective April 1st. As you'll see, the Allied Waste is the only one that will be increasing to 15.75. The city's rate will remain the same. The monthly rate for one container would be 20.21, for 2 containers 27.09, and backdoor walk-in service 28.48. That's all.
All those in favor say aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chief? Are we now to number 21?
Item 21, consideration and action to authorize the first supplemental contract amendment to the labor agreement of fiscal year 2008-09 through 09 through fiscal year 2013 through 14 between the City of Brownsville, Texas and the Fraternal Order of Brownsville Police Officers, DBA Brownsville Police Officers Association, on the amendment of Article 20 probationary periods and precedents of the existing police collective bargaining agreement.
Mayor and Commissioners, the Police Officer Association and I met recently, and we agreed to change the provisions of probation status for entry-level officers, to change it from the current point of hire to point of graduation from Police Academy. And unless there are any questions, we both respectfully request that you grant this.
Okay. I hear a motion? All those in favor say aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you very much.
Item 22, consideration and action to authorize the renewal of a term contract for the purchase and delivery of uniforms for the B Metro Department.
Hi, Norma.
Hi. Mayor and City Commissioners, at this time, staff is recommending consideration and action to request authorization to renew the term contract for the purchase and delivery of uniforms to Lynx Uniforms of Brownsville. The city is exercising its unilateral option to extend the term of this contract for the first 12 months at the original quoted prices. This is the first of 4 one-year terms for this contract. Funding for this project is available under our operating budget.
All those in favor say aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Norma.
Thank you.
Number 23.
Number 23, consideration and action to approve an agreement among the East Rio Hondo Water Supply Corporation, South Texas Independent School District, and the City of Brownsville to provide for fire line and fire protection systems that would be in place at the South Texas Independent School District Medical Academy to be located in Brownsville, Texas.
Mayor and Commissioners, the South Texas ISD is in the process of planning the construction of a medical high on the north side of town. This is simply an agreement with the East Rio Hondo Water Supply Corporation so we can get water to the fire hydrants that will service that school. And we'd ask that you approve it.
Your motion. All those in favor say aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Mark.
Item 20, Item 24, consideration and action to award a term contract for appraisal services for the City of Brownsville.
Mayor, members of the Commission, we went out for competitive proposals on appraisal services, and there were 4 that were interested and submitted proposals. 1 later withdrew the proposal. We are recommending contracts with the 3 remaining at the various rates that they've quoted. This will mean that we will have, for the same services, there'll be different prices depending on which appraiser you hire. The reason we went with this was because the prices were all over the map. For one appraiser, the small parcel of land was cheaper than the other, but when you get the bigger parcels, the other appraiser was cheaper. And so this gives us some flexibility in which appraiser we hire for to do a particular job. There was one appraiser who we're also asking you to approve the contract, whose prices were significantly higher. They're out of San Antonio. And the reason why we're asking you to approve them is because there may be some specialized work that we will need them to do that the local folks just either can't do or don't want to do, or they're not qualified or whatever. We're not going to be using them on a regular basis, just for special needs.
Is that the one out of Austin? Or? Oh.
Swatner, we don't.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm sorry. I hear a motion. All those in favor say aye. Motion-
Who
okay.
said that?
Motion carries. I'll vote that page.
Thank you.
Number 25.
Number 25, consideration and action to award a contract for the purchase and delivery of a new 2013 pumper vehicle to the Brownsville Fire Department.
Chief, how are you doing?
How you doing, sir? Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, staff recommends the following. Considering an action to award a contract for the purchase and delivery of a new 2013 pumper for the Brownsville Fire Department to Simmons Martin of Denton, Texas, in the amount of $361,100. This procurement reflects a by-board contract pricing. Funding for this procurement is available through CDBG funding. The fire department concurs with this recommendation. This particular pumper is going to be set up at the southmost area, fire station number 3. Just to let you know. The current one that's there, Station 3, will be downgraded to a reserve truck. We are trading in a truck, and we're getting $30,000 for it. That's reflected into the pricing.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you very much, sir.
26.
Item 26, consideration and action to award a contract for architectural services for the rehabilitation of the Stegman Building.
Mayor, Commissioners, I'm very proud to say that we're moving forward in rehabbing and renovating the Stegman Building to become a Brownsville Performing Arts Academy, where they'll incorporate it's called El Sistema, where they teach education through music. Brownsville Society for Performing, Brownsville Society for Performing Arts will be operating out of the facility. And so we have Kel Munoz. We've selected Kel Munoz in the amount of $349,600 to go ahead and do the architectural services, the architectural design and construction plans. They're going to provide all the plans for a $4.5 million facility, which is 6.75% of the cost. I am here for your approval.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, and it was a nice process. I went through one of their meetings, and you guys are to be commended. Very nicely. Thanks.
Thank you.
Item 27, consideration and action to award a contract for installation of a skate park at Oliveta Park.
Mayor, Commissioners, these are one of those projects that makes it all worthwhile. Some gentlemen here that they know me, and I think for a long time they thought I was just leading them on. But the American Ramp Company is the world's largest skate park provider. They've done over 2,000 installations worldwide, and we have gone through all the procedures for the procurement. It's a $450,000 project. The neat thing about this is we chose Oliveta Park because of the existing concrete pad, the existing lighting, there's existing parking. Therefore, none of that had to be done before this, and it is it's almost the same size as the one at Sports Park. And we really did our due diligence, and we really want this to go. I'm a little excited about this one. So we have a 20-year warranty on the Pro Series, which is the steel components, and there's a 15-year warranty on the precast concrete. The neat thing about this company is they do their own engineering. We don't now have to go to outsource it. It's all internal. And the public input. This is the most important part. These guys right here, if it's designed not right, if it's not right, I'm telling you guys, because they're the ones who did the input. And I support them. I don't skate, so.
They look like they do, though.
But it keeps it also, this is the number one thing, it keeps the kids that are in town that don't have access to get out to the sports park. It'll hopefully steer them from Dean Porter Park, Linear Park, and other areas, schools especially, to where they have a place to be at Oliveta Park. And that's what I'm really fortunate to have the Big Brother shops. They have a nonprofit to work with kids as well. So.
All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Good luck, guys. Be sure and invite all your friends to go out there, Big Brother, and tell them all to go out there and have a great time. Okay? Good luck. Okay, I want to see some champions on those TV Extreme things over there.
They're already there. They're a good group.
And item number 28, consideration and action to award a contract to the purchase, delivery, and installation of playground equipment for Olivetta Park.
This is another one of those projects that we're labeling a special needs playground. It will be accessed from all citizens in Brownsville. However, we're one of the few park systems, or one of the first park systems in the state to actually require most of our playground equipment to be accessible, ADA accessible. We do adaptive learning at these areas too. This park is specifically, if you know Olivetta Park, it's specifically next to the T-ball field, which is kind of like our last phase of this play area. And we hope to have some type of surfacing on that T-ball field to accommodate, I can't use the word miracle field because it's got a trademark, but we will have a field that's comparable, and we will use that as well. So it'll be a whole complex, eventually a community garden as well. And that way we can offer this to the whole community. It's for $167,000, $150,000 is CDBG, and the rest is.
We're going to have to do a little celebration when we.
Yeah, Chris, I have one question. That community garden that you mentioned, I know Dr. Wells is looking for more sites for community gardens. Is this one of them? Or tell him about it.
That one in particular is the Rio Bravo Wildlife Institute. They're working with it. But I got an email. I looked it over. There's some other sites that I'm considering, and Dr. Wells, we're going to meet. Okay. There is a grand opening once this gets passed, hopefully, April 12th, that I'm wanting to do with some guests that you're invited to.
I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Your turn, Commissioner. No, that's not. It's
Thank you, Mayor.
Motion carries. It's adjourned. It's over.